This video will be my take on Mabinogi's Homestead system and the 9 tips that are related to helping your journey in the game. A quick disclaimer, I won't be going over all the decoration items and vanity items related to the Homestead system in the game. This video will focus on the various perks, stat buffs, resources, and skill training buffs. I also want to give a special shout out to my guildmates from Transcend for answering my random questions. I'll be putting timestamps for this video in case you guys want to refer back to this guide. The first tip is really about what's the point of having a homestead and why is it important. Homesteads are extremely important because they can offer a steady way of earning gold in the game, skill training convenience, stat buffs, and resources to multiple systems in the game related to your progression. For example, you need mandrakes and base herbs to craft a lot of HP and stamina 50 potions for the erg system. Now some of you guys are probably wondering, how can I start making my homestead useful? To do that, you need to level your homestead first, which leads us into my second tip of how to level your homestead. The first thing that you need to do is to try and fit as many fields on your homestead as possible. Whenever your homestead space increases, always try to fit more fields as much as you can. The reason that you want to have as many fields as possible is because you want to be growing multiple crops to speed up the leveling process. Growing strawberries from strawberry seeds and growing poinsettia flowers from poinsettia seeds will be the first 2 crops that you have unlocked. Strawberry seeds are obtainable from Dell's part-time job in Matcha and drop from goblins that spawn in CR Normal and Berry Normal dungeons. To access CR Normal, all you need to do is enter this first lobby and drop any item onto the altar. To access Berry Normal, all you need to do is enter this first lobby and drop any item onto the altar. Poinsettia flowers, on the other hand, are only consistently obtainable from Dell's part-time job in Matcha. Dell's part-time job starts at 8 AM in game time, and you can report as early as 10 AM in game time. From Homestead Level 2 to Homestead Level 4, I recommend using a mix of both poinsettia seeds and strawberry seeds. This is because completing Dell's part-time job yields 2 seeds if you are just starting her part-time job, which is better served in obtaining the poinsettia seeds. Once you get to Homestead Level 5, I recommend using a mix of strawberry seeds and rose hip seeds. The rose hip seeds are the most efficient for time and homestead stone use because you get 300 cons in a 1-hour duration. However, they are only consistently obtainable from Dell's part-time job in Matcha. Lastly, once you get to Homestead Level 6 and beyond, I recommend using a mix of strawberry seeds, rose hip seeds, and pumpkin seeds. Pumpkins are ideal if you plan on being logged out of the game for more than 3 hours, or if you plan on passively working on your homestead, where you do not want to go back and forth to check up on it. Goblins in CR Normal and Berry Normal can drop pumpkin seeds. Otherwise, keep using rose hip seeds and strawberry seeds to level your homestead. It's also worth noting that you can buy the rose hip, poinsettia, strawberry, and pumpkin seeds on the auction house. Additionally, there are 3 types of ornaments that can passively generate con. In an effort to make this less confusing, I'll break them down and deviate from the Mabinogi Wiki's naming style. I'll call the ornaments that passively generate 1 con A. Speedwell is an example that belongs in this type or category and is unlocked at a level 3 homestead. I'll call the ornaments that passively generate 2 con B. The clothesline or laundry ornament is an example that belongs in this type or category and is unlocked at a level 14 homestead. I'll call the ornaments that passively generate 3 con C. The prairie grass ornament is an example that belongs in this type or category and is unlocked at a level 3 homestead. The ornaments that generate daily cons of the same type can stack up to 10 times. This means that you can have 10 speedwell, 10 prairie grass, and 10 clothesline or laundry ornaments. Furthermore, ornaments that generate different amounts of cons can stack together. This means that if you add all 3 different types, you will get 60 cons per day. Another important side note is that you can use either wagons or scarecrows to increase the amount of cons you obtain while harvesting crops. Your first wagon, the light wagon, is unlocked at Homestead Level 7 with a 3% con harvest bonus. Your second wagon is unlocked at Homestead Level 9 with a 5% con harvest bonus. The Scarecrow is unlocked at Homestead level 12 with a 6% con harvest bonus. Per the Mabinogi wiki, the bonus effects from the wagons and scarecrows do not stack. Additionally, even if you have multiple wagons, only one wagon's bonus will be applied. Therefore, as you level your homestead, you should be swapping out the wagons to the Scarecrow. I know some of you guys are probably gonna ask about the part-time job meta. I won't mention that method in this video simply because I am saving it for another video that I am working on, so stay tuned when that gets released. Additionally, the Mabinogi wiki has their own homestead leveling tips, but you will be using a lot of homestead stones in a short time frame, which may require the use of the cash shop. The main trade-off is that this might be faster than doing the part-time jobs meta method. I'll put their leveling guide as an alternative way if you are in a rush to level your homestead. Homestead golden sprouts can also be used to level your homestead, but these items are very rare in the game. You guys will be mainly leveling your homestead by putting as many fields as you can in your homestead, growing crops, using ornaments that passively generate cons, and using the extra con harvest bonus ornaments. Since homestead stones will be used a lot in leveling your homestead, I'll mention various ways to obtain homestead stones. Aside from mining them from your homestead, you can get them from Madoc's side quest. And outlaw homesteads. Additionally, if you have partner pets with a high enough disposition, you can obtain more homestead stones per gathering attempt. To access the outlaws' homesteads, you need to pursue the bandits first. You basically go to any wanted board next to the commerce NPCs and choose a bandit boss to pursue. Defeating bandits that spawn have a chance of dropping the outlaws' homestead pass. By using the Outlaws Homestead Pass, you will be teleported to the Outlaws Homestead. There will be a mineable homestead stone pile on the side of the homestead. If you want to find bandits fast, I highly recommend following someone that is doing a commerce run, while pursuing bandits at the same time. Another important side note is that your playing instrument or song rank can decrease the time needed for crop growth in your homestead. For this example, by using either a rank 1 playing instrument skill or a rank 1 song skill, there is a chance that the strawberries will take 21 minutes to fully grow instead of taking 60 minutes. The third tip I have for you guys are the important resource nodes that you are going to need throughout your journey in the game. Here's a quick summary on the screen. I will also talk about why these resources are important to have in your homestead and what to use them for in the game. Base herbs and mandrakes are commonly used for the HP and stamina 50 potion for erg level breaks. Poison herbs are used for crafting poison potions, which are used for crafting the poison tip wyvern ballista bolt for commerce barters. Mana herbs, sunlight herbs, and gold herbs are used for crafting magic parchment and magic quill pens for commerce barters, along with designing your own glyph. White herbs are mainly used for crafting spirit liqueur, which are used in the spirit weapon system along with commerce barters. Bloody herbs, mana herbs, and poison herbs are also used for crafting mysterious herb powder, which are used in commerce barters. Some of these herbs can be difficult or annoying to find in the game, so I highly recommend buying some herbs from the auction house and building at least 3 patches of each. This is so that when you activate Phantasmal Sight, you can start accumulating more herbs to build more patches. This effectively creates a resource feedback loop. This is how I was able to create these giant field of herbs without needing to buy a lot of materials from the auction house. Next, we have chopping blocks. The reason that chopping blocks is important is because you can have these chopping blocks next to each other in your homestead, and if you pair this with Phantasmal Sight, it will be easier to gather a lot of firewood in a short amount of time. You also need a lot of firewood, average firewood, fine firewood, and finest firewood for commerce barters. For all of the returning Mabinogi players out there that have been gone for several years, You don't have to create your own cobweb farm at Matcha or Tirchonail anymore. Old spiderweb stumps are a better and efficient way of farming cobwebs for silk, thin thread, tough thread, and braids, which are used for commerce barters and a wide range of crafting recipes. The reason that old spiderweb stumps are a better and efficient way of farming cobwebs is because you can also have multiple old spiderweb stumps next to each other and use Phantasmal Sight to obtain a lot of cobwebs in a short amount of time. To build old spiderweb stumps, they require 1 spider eggs and 20 finest firewood. You can obtain spider eggs from defeating the white-footed tarantulas and black-footed tarantulas. The white-footed tarantulas are located by the letters N and G in Herba Jungle. The closest mana tunnel is the Herba Jungle Central Mana Tunnel. The black-footed tarantulas are located near the Sunny Meadows South Mana Tunnel. Next, we have wild honey. Wild honey is mainly used to obtain honeycombs. You have a chance of obtaining fresh honey, dead bee, royal jelly, pollen, and wax from using a honeycomb. Wax is needed for crafting fine vanilla-scented candles, which are then used to create finest vanilla-scented candles, which are used in commerce barters. The royal jelly is also another notable item that people overlook, but is actually used for crafting royal boost tonics, which shorten the duration of your pet's expedition time. After the wild honey, we have blossoming cages. At some point in the game, you will access and unlock Finny Blossoming, which lets you convert a Finny gem into a Finny pet whistle through the use of blossoming cages. These Finny pet whistles are then either used or sold to Fionate and Magbell for a decent amount of gold and gold leaf pine cones every day. The gold leaf pine cones are very useful in buying precise reforging tools, Cosmos Extract, and pets' favorite knickknacks. The Cosmos Extract is used in crafting the Harmonious Cosmos perfume. The pet's favorite knickknacks are used in crafting the pet's playset. Also, a fun fact about the pet's playset: these guys can grant a commerce profit bonus that range from 1.5% to 5% using the play with pet action, among other really handy buffs. The Harmonious Cosmos perfume and pets playsets are used in commerce barters. The Harmonious Cosmos perfume is also used in Fin Sync. Fin Sync basically just lets your pet grow stronger, which in turn makes you stronger through the use of Divine Link or Memorial Link. The gold leaf pine cones are also used in crafting enchant recovery essences and special upgrade recovery essences. The last relatively important resource node is the gold mushroom. Gold mushrooms are mainly used for crafting like ability potions, which are then used to unlock NPC secret shops. Secret shops are mainly used to obtain important skill books in the game to help make your character stronger by increasing your stats. If those are the important resource nodes, what about the other resource nodes? These resource nodes on the screen are optional since they are either found plentiful in the overworld in the game, or are not currently required in huge volumes for certain systems in the game. For example, the mineral vein and metallurgy site are not that important because you can obtain and synthesize ingots at a faster rate than farming the raw ores from the mineral vein and metallurgy site. Additionally, gems can be easily obtained in Evan's part-time job instead of using the metallurgy site. You are also always welcome to include these optional resource nodes in your homestead. After covering the resource nodes, I'll be talking about the important processing tools and equipment. The windmill is arguably the most important piece of homestead equipment because it lets you continuously produce the different types of flour in the game without interacting with an NPC. The furnace is another important piece of homestead equipment because it lets you continuously produce ingots and plates without interacting with an NPC. Next, we have the oven. You will want to have an oven in your homestead because you will be able to make use of the cooking buff from the housing workshop. I'll be talking more about this in a different section of the video. I recommend immediately removing the oven once you are done working on your cooking skill, but ultimately it's your choice if you want to keep it or not. This is because there is a homestead stone maintenance fee for the oven. The engineering rack is nice to have in the homestead, especially since you cannot use rain casting in the Hillwind mine where the engineering rack is located. The other workbenches and stations are optional since they are mostly used for convenience. Again, You are always welcome to add the optional stations for your homestead if it fits your vibe. Next, I'll be talking about the homestead house and the workshop benches. There are currently 2 homestead house types. The first type is a regular house where you currently have access to 2 rooms. The second type is a mansion where you currently have access to 3 rooms. According to the Mabinogi Wiki, your homestead must be level 4 to create a house. To access the workshop benches, you need to lease your house. However, I highly recommend prioritizing reaching level 8 for your homestead so that you can unlock the mansion with the 3 rooms for your workshop. To lease your house or mansion, all you have to do is click on your house or mansion, select Enter, and a prompt will pop up asking you if you would like to lease the house. I am currently using the combination VIP membership, and in my case, it's asking me if I would like to lease the house for 0 gold. However, leasing a house normally costs 500,000 gold. Leasing a house lasts for 30 days. You can also extend your lease anytime within 7 days of your lease expiry for only 200,000 gold. If the lease expires before the lease is extended, you will be required to pay 500,000 gold to lease the house again, so make sure to keep an eye on your lease. Once you have your homestead lease activated, you can now use the workshop benches inside the homestead house. To get started with the workshop benches, you need to click on the bottom circle that shows the rooms inside your homestead house. Then click on any empty room that does not have a workshop bench and select Move. Once you're in an empty room, select the circle with the hammer icon on the left side of the screen. Select the Workshop tab, and this is where you will be selecting various life skill benches. For this video, I'll be focusing on cooking because you need extra training multipliers to bypass certain skill requirements, and it is a bit more annoying to train compared to the other life skills. Therefore, I'll be selecting the level 1 cooking bench. Next, you will need 50,000 gold to upgrade the cooking bench to level 2, so that you can access the higher level research tasks. Once you have upgraded the cooking bench to level 2, you will need to put 6 great buckets for an easy 6,000 inspiration. The reason that you want to put 6 great buckets when you are first starting out is because as you increase the inspiration, the amount of expertise will also increase. Once you have finished decorating the room, you can now start the research task. To assign a workshop a research task, all you need to do is click on the workshop bench. Select Complete Research Task and choose a research task for the workshop bench to work on. I highly recommend making another level 2 cooking bench for your second room and third room. This is so that you can speed up the process in obtaining 4,000 expertise points to use the 1.5 times multiplier with the 1 hour duration for training your cooking skill. However, you currently cannot have multiple rooms researching the same topic. As you guys can see on my screen, one of them is highlighted, and I cannot select this research topic because the room with 0 inspiration points is currently working on this research task. According to the Mabinogi Wiki, the Basic Cooking Studies is the most optimal, which has a 36-minute research time. Your first room, or whichever room has the highest inspiration, should be focusing on this research task. For the second room, I recommend doing the research task, theory and practice of cooking, because this is the second most efficient research task. Lastly, for the third room, I recommend doing the research task, the relationship between humanity and cooking, because this is the third most efficient research task. Furthermore, you should have 3 different research tasks activated all at once on the right-hand side of the screen. After the workbenches and the homestead house, I will be talking about the importance of homestead figures, sequel figures, and the pet house. According to the wiki, the highest stats for the homestead figures, sequel figures, and the pet house will be applied and added to each other. I will also be using Mabinogi Wiki's homestead figure and sequel figure chart, where you can organize them by the highest stat to the lowest stat. We're going to take a look at critical damage for this example, so that it is easier to understand how this all works. Let's say I have a Kawina figure and Homestead Goddess's Abyssal Energy for the Homestead figure category. Then I have an Airship Sequel figure and a Homestead Cattle Sequel figure for the Sequel figure category. And finally, I have a Cat Tower Stage 4 and a Medium Pet Pasture Stage 4 for the Pet House category. The Kawina figure has a plus 7% crit damage bonus, and the Homestead Goddess's Abyssal Energy for the Homestead figure has a plus 6% crit damage bonus. What's going to happen is the Kawina figure's 7% critical damage will be applied instead of the Homestead Goddess's Abyssal Energy for the Homestead figure, because the Kawina figure has a higher critical damage value. The Airship Sequel figure has a plus 3% critical damage bonus, and the Homestead Cattle Sequel figure has a plus 2% critical damage bonus. What's going to happen is the Airship Sequel figure's plus 3% critical damage bonus will be applied instead of the Homestead Cattle Sequel figure, because the Airship Sequel figure has a higher critical damage value. The Cat Tower Stage 4 has a plus 2% critical damage bonus, and the Medium Pet Pasture Stage 4 has a plus 1% critical damage bonus. What's going to happen is the Cat Tower Stage 4's plus 2% critical damage bonus will be applied instead of the Medium Pet Pasture Stage 4, because the Cat Tower Stage 4 has a higher critical damage value. The grand total for the additional critical damage bonus from the Homestead figure, Sequel figure, and Pet House will be a plus 12% critical damage. This same reasoning can be used for the other stats as well. Next, I'll be talking about the pet houses in more detail. Pet houses have two main functions. Pet houses basically let your pets recover their fatigue points after going on a pet expedition. And while your pets are resting, your pets will activate the pet house's buffs. Pet houses can be built by clicking on the hammer icon on the left side of the screen and clicking on the small arrow on the construction list window. Here you will see the available pet houses with their building requirements. While your pets are resting in the pet house, you will receive various buffs based on the kind of pet house and where the pet is located in the pet house. For pet houses with multiple resting slots, each resting slot offers a distinct buff, which can be seen on the resting window. You will only receive the buffs corresponding to the chosen resting slots. Unused slots will not apply their buffs, even if another slot at the same pet house is occupied. Per the wiki, when the resting time is completed and the pet status changes to Rest Finished, the resting effect is still currently maintained. The Mabinogi wiki also mentions that only by clicking the Rest Finished button and accepting the resting reward, the buffs you obtained while your pet was resting will disappear. Therefore, as of making this video in June 2025, if you currently want to keep the buff indefinitely, you can just leave your pets resting forever. Another important side note is that pet houses of identical types such as the Cloud Cushion, Stage 1, and Cloud Cushion, Stage 2, cannot be installed together. To upgrade your pet house, you click on the glowing part of the desired pet house you want to upgrade. Then another window will pop up telling you the building materials for the upgrade, and click the Select button. It's also worth noting that it can be difficult to see missing building requirements, so you might have to check the Mabinogi wiki for the full building materials. After pet houses, I'll be going over pet expeditions. The pet expedition board is unlocked at a level 4 homestead, which requires 5 large nails and 10 wood boards. Pet expeditions let you send out your pets to do quests from the board. Ideally, you should try to match the requirements for the quest so that you can increase the probability of receiving a huge lucky bonus to obtain the bonus rewards. Some notable rewards from the pet expeditions are Festia commemorative gift boxes, homestead seeds, and crafting materials. Fun side note, according to the Mabinogi wiki, you can obtain broken magic essences from the Albi Hard Training Pet Expedition. This pet expedition can randomly appear on the pet expedition board, or you can use a venture contract. Albi Hard Training that is dropped from Albi Advanced Hard Mode's end chests. The main downside is that you can only use one venture contract per day. If you also want to speed up the pet expedition, you can use Royal Boost tonics to reduce the duration of the pet expedition. However, the expedition time cannot be reduced below 5 minutes. The last tip I have for you is what to put in your level 15 homestead. I will leave this checklist on this screen. I left out the optional stuff on this list because those things are more for preference and convenience. Those things will vary based on person to person. Take your time and enjoy building your homestead. That's it for this video. If you guys found this video useful or informative, please subscribe, like, or share this video. Thanks!